Let me tell you the truth most people don't want to hear. Hard work isn't a choice. Consistency isn't optional. You can have talent, you can have dreams, but if you're not willing to show up every single day, none of it matters. The reason most people fail isn't because they're not capable. It's because they want results without repetition. They want success without sacrifice. But that's not how it works. Success is rented, and the rent is due every single day. You don't get to clock in when it's easy and quit when it's hard. If you want to build something real, something that lasts, you have to show up, tired, broke, doubted, unmotivated, and still get it done. That's what separates the talkers from the doers. That's what builds legends. Let me tell you the truth most people don't want to hear. Hard work isn't a choice. Consistency isn't optional. You can have talent, you can have dreams, but if you're not willing to show up every single day, none of it matters. The reason most people fail isn't because they're not capable. It's because they want results without repetition. They want success without sacrifice. But that's not how it works. Success is rented, and the rent is due every single day. You don't get to clock in when it's easy and quit when it's hard. If you want to build something real, something that lasts, you have to show up, tired, broke, doubted, unmotivated, and still get it done. That's what separates the talkers from the doers. That's what builds legends. Most people will never reach their dreams, not because they aren't good enough, not because the world is unfair, and not because they lack talent. They'll never get there because they give up the moment things get uncomfortable. The moment life pushes back, they stop pushing forward. And that's the hard truth. Everyone wants to win, but no one wants to bleed for it. Everyone wants the results, but no one wants to suffer the process. The world is filled with dreamers, but empty of doers. You want something great? Then you better understand this. Hard work is not optional. Consistency is not a choice. They are the price of entry to the life you say you want. There will be days when you don't feel like doing it. Do it anyway. There will be moments when no one claps, no one believes, and no one stands with you. Show up anyway. The grind is lonely. The hustle is silent. The struggle is invisible. But the results are loud enough for the whole world to hear. That's why hard work matters. Not the work you do once, but the work you do every day, without applause, without reward, without recognition. That's what builds character. That's what builds winners. You have to fall in love with effort, not just when it's exciting, but especially when it's boring, because that's where the magic is. Success is not hidden in breakthroughs. It's buried in repetition, in doing the same thing over and over again, getting 1% better every day, until suddenly you look up and you've built something massive. Everyone's chasing shortcuts. Everyone's chasing hacks. But here's a secret most won't tell you. There is no shortcut that replaces consistency. You can't cheat the grind. You can't outsmart hard work. You can't bypass the struggle. The people at the top, they aren't lucky. They just refused to stop. While others were sleeping, they were studying. While others were scrolling, they were grinding. While others were complaining, they were building. And eventually, time made the difference clear. Consistency is not sexy. It's not dramatic. It doesn't make headlines, but it wins. Every time. It wins in fitness, in education, in business, in life. The person who wakes up every day and shows up will always outlast the one who shows up only when they feel like it. Feelings are fickle. Emotions fade. But routines, habits, daily effort, that's what shapes your reality. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your habits. And if your habits are weak, so will be your results. The only way to change your life is to change what you do every single day. Small things, done daily, lead to big changes eventually. But it's not enough to just work hard once in a while. You have to build an identity around it. You have to become the kind of person who doesn't need to be told to work hard. It should be who you are, not something you do for a few weeks. Discipline is freedom. The more you control your time, your choices, your focus, the more you own your life. And the truth is, most people are enslaved, not by others, but by their own laziness, their distractions, their comfort zones. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. It whispers lies. It says, "You're fine. You've done enough." But greatness only listens to one voice, the voice that says, "Keep going." Think about this. A drop of water hitting a rock means nothing, but a drop hitting that same spot again and again for years, that rock will split. That's the power of consistency. It breaks resistance. It wears down doubt. It silences fear. Every single day that you work, even when it seems like nothing is happening, something is. You're becoming stronger, sharper, hungrier. You're building grit. And grit is the one thing no one can give you or take from you. It's earned through struggle, through rejection, through failure. The most successful people in history were not the most talented, but they were relentless. They didn't have easy paths. They just never stopped walking. And you? You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need all the answers. You just need to begin and refuse to quit. Start ugly. Start scared. Start tired. Just don't stop. The world will try to convince you it's not worth it. People will question your path. But that's okay. Let them talk while you work. Let them rest while you rise. Let them quit while you climb. Because the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just that little extra effort, that little extra time, that little extra belief. Keep showing up. Keep doing the work. Because hard work never lies. It will always give back more than it takes. You just have to give it time. And one day, when the world finally sees what you've built, they'll call you lucky. They'll say, "You were born for this." But you'll know, you weren't lucky. You were consistent. You weren't chosen. You chose yourself. And when that moment comes, when your hard work becomes undeniable, remember the days you kept going when no one noticed. Because that's when the real growth happened. Not when they applauded, but when they ignored you, and you still believed. That's the secret. That's the power. That's what turns nobodies into legends. Words of John Lever.